Yeah. Yeah.
History dude.
Yeah. So, the Three Kingdoms. You've probably heard about it if you've ever played the Dynasty Warriors from 1 to whatever the hell it is now. And even if you haven't, the more popular franchise, Total War, is coming out with their Three Kingdoms Total War game later this year. However, even then, most people don't know much about the Three Kingdoms, even if you did play the games. Most of us probably know they're just a bunch of dudes with crazy weapons that maul through thousands of peasant soldiers. Or you've probably only heard of this guy, Liu Bu, who you realize is probably the most OP character in history. He's pretty much like the Chinese version of Achilles, and I'll talk more about him later. However, Three Kingdoms is actually much bigger than all of that. In fact, it was in pop culture long ago in the form of books, comics, mangas, card games, TV shows, movies, and even giant statues. It has transcended history and have become mythology. I mean, did you know that triads pray to the figure of Guan Yu, which is a hero from the Three Kingdoms era? The cultural roots are so deep, yet not many of us in the West know or heard much about this historical period. But have no fear, because History Dude is here. You came to the right place, because this series is going to be all about the Three Kingdoms. I'm going to go over the characters, battles, lore, and myth of the Three Kingdoms through witty humor and crappy drawings. And by the end of the series, you will not only be an expert, but realize why people revere this part of history so much. It's got all the things you love: intrigue, betrayal, plot twists, and superhuman acts of heroism. It's pretty much like Game of Thrones, but it actually happened. So let's get right into it. So we'll start off at the very beginning of 168 AD. So China at the time was ruled by the Liu family. The current emperor just dropped dead and a new one succeeded. However, things like corruption and famine plagued the nation, and since people were starving to death and eating each other, they were like, hey, why don't we just overthrow the government? So in 184 AD, a Yellow Turban Rebellion was started by a dude named Zheng Jiao. Now, the government was like, okay, shit, maybe now's the time to do something, because peasants were attacking officials and stuff. And they gathered an imperial army with He Jing as the general-in-chief. He Jing at the time was one of the more influential officials in the country. And it was also during this rebellion that three particular individuals made an appearance into history. The first one was Cao Cao. Cao Cao was a cavalry captain in the army, and he did pretty well to make a small reputation for himself. If you guys don't know why he's significant, well, spoiler alert, he was the founder of one of the Three Kingdoms, the Kingdom of Wei. He was also known for his lack of mercy and craftiness. Today, some may even label him as a psychopath. He was charming yet deceitful, and he had a ton of Machiavellian tendencies. For instance, when he was a child, he actually framed his uncle. He threw a fit in front of him. When his uncle ran to his father and reported that he was throwing a fit, his father returned and saw that he was perfectly normal. He was just like, hey, dude, like, were you throwing a fit? He was like, nah, I was just playing my PS4 the entire time. I was just on Fortnite, I don't think I lost my mind. But I think my uncle might be a liar. And then thus his father from then on distrusted his uncle and believed everything that Cao Cao did. And he was pretty much a spoiled brat at that point. So the other hero is Sun Jian. He was a major during the rebellion and had great martial prowess and tactical abilities. For instance, when he was 16 years old, he bumped into some pirates while traveling. He jumped onto the shore and surprised them by shouting commands like he was leading soldiers to capture them. The pirates ran for their lives, and then he chased after them. Later, he returned with all the heads of every single pirate. He was pretty much a total badass, and he was also the father of Sun Quan, who was the founder of another one of the Three Kingdoms, the Kingdom of Wu. Seeing a pattern here? That's right. So a third hero is also the founder of the Third Kingdom, the Kingdom of Shu, and his name was Liu Bei. Liu Bei claimed that he had ties to the imperial family and he was basically some super distant cousin or whatever, but his mother was just a sandal maker, meaning he either lied about the claim or he was really just a super long forgotten branch of the family. Historians today don't know for sure. Either way, he was a charismatic type and inspired people through his belief of justice, righteousness, loyalty, and honor, and also virtue. I mean, he's pretty much like Ned Stark, the cookie cutter protagonist. However, his incorruptible righteousness in a time where corruption was so rampant, he ended up attracting a lot of loyal followers under his cause. So with the help of some local merchants, he raised some money and he started a militia to fight the rebellion. Among those that joined him were his two infamous blood brothers, Guan Yu and Zheng Fei. These guys were like super OP. I'll talk more about their accomplishments later in the series. Guan Yu was a tall guy, a long beard, and a red face. He was known for his honor, loyalty, formidableness in battle. He carried a weapon called the Green Dragon Crescent Blade. Pretty badass, right? I mean, it's even rumored that there was a red imprint on the blade because of the frozen blood in the battle, and he just couldn't wash it off after. The weapon is supposed to be super heavy and can cut people in half when he wields it. Zheng Fei was pretty much your typical barbaric slaughter everything mofo. He was a local butcher before joining Liu Bei, and he was very used to chopping shit into pieces. I mean, he was a large guy with a crazy head of hair and a beard, and as well as mean-ass eyes. So basically, if you gave him a Harley, he'd pretty much be your typical Sons of Anarchy, Hell's Angel type dude. On top of that, he carried an infamous weapon called a serpent blade, due to the tip looking like a snake. He was short-tempered, he was an alcoholic, and he fought like a beast. But he was also fiercely loyal to his sworn brothers. So that's all the time we have with this episode. Tune in next time to part 2, which I will be releasing very soon. Also, please hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys tune in next time. I'll be releasing episode 2 very soon. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.